Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Alright, so I want to talk about Batman. So, Batman has generated a ton of buzz and a ton of analysis by many people over the many months that it's been released since whatever, back in March. It's a movie that makes a ton of bold choices, and because of those bold choices, there's a lot for people to talk about. The director, Matt Reeves, actually told Warner Bros. Unless he got to make the movie that he wanted to make, the way he wanted to make it, then he would rather not do it at all. And so, the bros of Warner, they brought him on and they gave him all the reins to have his fun with the character. And he did. We've all seen it. From its extremely moody atmosphere to its dark lighting and cinematography, Reeves certainly went for a certain style. Whether you actually like that style or not is not really relevant to what I want to talk about or what I want to mention in this specific video. This movie is filled with artistic choices that can be analyzed down to an inch of their lives, for better or for worse. And there's one of these that I found personally to be a really intriguing technique. There's a common shot that Reeves uses throughout this movie. That shot is what I'm going to label as the mounted point of view shot. I like to look at movies and talk about cool stuff they did. So I'm going to talk about this for a few minutes. Maybe you find it interesting like I do. The shot isn't something Matt Reeves invented, not at all. It's a shot that's been used in a lot of movies for a very long time. You've probably seen it. It's that shot where a director or cinematographer chooses to physically mount the camera to a fixed position on some sort of object. This object could be moving or it could be still. It's essentially giving us a perspective of what the scene or what this world in the movie looks like from the object's point of view, hence the name Mounted Point of View Shot. I made that up, by the way. As far as I know, there's no actual legit term for it. Maybe there is, I don't know. In the Batman, there's a ton of examples where they use it. The car chase, the motorbike, when Batman leaps off the roof, he really uses it to the point where it sort of wasn't subtle anymore, and I think I really liked it. I could see how overusing this directing choice could be a bit too much, a bit obnoxious maybe, if you want to call it that, but I've been noticing it's used now more and more in movies and shows, and so that's why I decided to make this video, just to, I don't know, lay out its purpose, and when, as a director or cinematographer, we might be inclined to use it in our own films. So what's the point of it? Why not just shoot the car chase like most car chases do, from a sort of third person following the action kind of deal? Why did Matt Reeves decide to shoot the Batman like this? Maybe he just wanted to spice it up a bit. Maybe just provide a fresh, literal perspective to a kind of scene that we've seen done 1,000 times before. Of course, if this scene inspires loads of other scenes to do the same, then the mounted POV shot might get a little bit tiresome and lose that unique value, and then become the very thing it swore to destroy. In the case of the Batman, I can see another reason why Reeves and Greg Fraser, who is the cinematographer on this movie, chose to take advantage of this shot type. Their take on the comic book character was, of course, another attempt to make it feel even more grounded and even more real than anything done before. So choosing to physically mount the camera to an actual moving vehicle could help support this style, because you are literally grounded to the scene, attached to the car, putting you right there where all the action and shaking and explosions and swerving is happening. Rather than looking at it from a distance as a spectator, you're kind of like a participant. This is by no means the correct way to approach the scene. It's just the way that they figured best suited the look and feel of what they wanted to go for. The shot isn't only something we could use in an action scene either. I find they work really well in static scenes too. Putting the camera into a spot that characters look at is something directors often do, which creates this sort of curiosity to know what it is they're looking at. The classic trunk shot that's pretty popular, that's a really great example. But yeah, in the Batman, it's more notably used on moving objects. Even when Batman jumps off the building when the cops are chasing him up the stairs, basically looks like he was wearing one of those GoPro 360-degree cameras when he's flying down. Another example of the shot being used in a recent movie is in Top Gun Maverick, where all of the fighter jets were mounted with IMAX cameras as they flew in the sky for real. I did a video on that too, where I talk about practical effects and stuff. Okay, so we kind of know what the shot is and what it could be used for. But now let's say your shot list calls for a mounted POV shot on the hood of your car. How would we actually accomplish it? I guess you just gotta figure out how to strap your camera to the hood. There's actual people on set whose jobs are this exact thing. The grips will be the ones to engineer the different ways of different camera setups. So the first thing to do is maybe make sure you got a key grip in your crew who knows what they're doing. Probably best for safety purposes. But yeah, You might need to resort to using a smaller or lighter camera that can be safely mounted on the hood. Maybe this is like a GoPro with one of those suction mounts, or there are far more complex and expensive ways of getting your cinema camera up there too. Of course, these decisions depend entirely on the budget of your production. For myself, I've tried using this mounted POV shot in my current film, which I'm working on now, which is actually a digital animation, so I'm able to skip past all the limits of the physical world and can literally attach the camera to the car with 2 clicks of a button, which is really nice. The mounted POV shot is a neat tool which we can add to the toolbox as filmmakers. You use it if we want, maybe don't overuse it, use it with a purpose, and think about why we might want to attach our perspective to a specific object. Does that object carry significance in our scene? Maybe it does, maybe you just find it looks really cool when you put a certain spot, which is by all means legitimate enough for me. Now when I watch movies, I pick out when they use this shot. And sometimes it's for a brand new reason, which is really cool to see. That's what I try to do with all these videos anyways, just to see what I see on the screen when I'm watching stuff in the theaters or on Netflix or wherever, and get inspired by cool, different, new, maybe innovative techniques, whether that's a fancy shot type like this, or something more story-oriented from the screenplay. If I like it, I might inspect it. But what the hell do I know?
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.